Call her La Yahweh, Ba Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba Hashem, Rakakwadash, Yahweh, being the true name of the Father, as the word ignorantly calls God, Yahweh Shai, being the true name of the Son, as the word ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, along with the Holy Spirit, who taught me this truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect, and to the brothers that's pushing this truth in sincerity, risking life and freedom to do so. And shalom to the brothers and sisters that are listening and learning. This is your brother Labah coming to you with another lesson in truth. And I'm gonna get into this whole having a job, like how can I break it down? This whole concept of, you graduate high school, you go to college, all right, get you a so-called degree, go into corporate America and get you a, good paying job, what I'm saying, get married, have a kid or two or three, right? And plan for your retirement and try to build generational wealth. That's what our people think in this present time. They completely lost sight that they still in captivity, right? They don't understand a job it just, you still a slave. You just a wage slave. You working for a wage, right? And if you don't go to work, right, you don't eat. So it's a catch 22. And if you're a brother in this truth or a sister in this truth, I'm not telling you not to, go to work and have a job. You got to be able to maintain in this captivity. But deep down inside that you've been oppressed and you in captivity, you never lost sight of that, right? But most of our people have. They don't understand what's going on. They completely wrapped into this American spirit without a care in the world. All right, living in this oblivion state of mind when they just worry about what's going on in their life. All right, trying to make it in America, trying to be somebody, trying to attain some kind of goals and success in this place, when not understanding why things are the way they are. They overlooking, that they still in captivity and how things are set up the way they set up. You're not set up to prosper. The average so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American is in poverty. All right. The average so-called white person, all right, is doing very financially well, and they're able to benefit and live a comfortable life overall. All right. So let me get into this whole video right here. Give me 1 second. I want you to listen up to this.
Almost everybody spends most of their life living in a totalitarian system. It's called having a job. When you have a job,
you heard what he said. So that's a cut on the madness with Jake, boasting, bragging to his job and show, his check stub and his income. All right. And our people got the wrong concept when it comes to working. The whole concept of working was intended that you work your own land. All right. When you had your own nation. All right. It's not this modern concept that our people are hell bent on. It's not the way it was supposed to be. All right. Having a job is hell, man, on this side, because I'm gonna let him continue to break it down so you can understand.
you're under total control of the masters of the enterprise. They determine what you wear, when you go to the bathroom, what you do. The very idea of
So like in one of these elites, you know what I'm saying, the top tier of the Edomites said he want a nation of workers, not a nation of thinkers. So this whole system is set up. This the matrix, man. All right. So when you start grade school, they start indoctrinating you, whitewashing history, and they start telling you, start molding and grooming your mind. And by the time you get 18, graduate from high school, you fully conform to this world. That they teach you all these things in school, like Christmas, Thanksgiving. Why you think all this is pushed and promoted in the school system? They're molding these kids' mind, and a lot of these kids grew up to be adults, and they have molded their minds. Their reality has been molded. All right, it has been groomed. Finish this up.
wage contract is selling yourself into servitude. These are private governments. They're more totalitarian than governments are.
But they can't legally murder you or imprison
They
you.
can't legally murder you, but they can control everything that you do. Okay?
And that's, that should bring up a scripture that I'm going to get into, Job 9:24. And this is their new world order that they bringing in. They want complete control, which comes with that device they're gonna make everybody try to take. But you're to resist that device that they're gonna implant people with, right? Because if you take that, you're gonna be destroyed, right? So let's get into this lesson. Matter of fact, I think I'm gonna finish this up.
Well, again, the right-wing libertarian argument would be, well, you're free to leave at any time.
Yes, you're free to starve. That's exactly right. You have a choice between starving or selling yourself to a tyranny. Very libertarian.
And that's another way of enslaving you because no one wants to starve, right? No one wants to be laid out in the streets, man. So they came out with, especially for you so-called blacks, Hispanic, and Native Americans, right? And it's an indictment on most of our people as well, and the so-called white man, because if you side with this devil after so-called slavery, right? We left empty. You know, our ancestors they didn't pay no reparation. They didn't pay no, try to what was the word I'm looking for? They didn't pay again a reparation. They didn't try to financially set our people up to after slavery. They just said the hell with you. You on your own. You got to pull your own self up by your bootstraps. All right, and good luck. And a lot of them Jakes had to go back and work as sharecroppers because they had no money, they had nowhere to go, they had no land and no hope. All right. So it was all a setup from the jump. So again, our people that think that we are free, we are not. All right. So let me get into this wage slavery term. All right, because this is a very sophisticated new form of slavery. All right. And our people so simple minded. That's why, a lot of, growing up or whatever, is pushed and promoted to get a job, try to get a good job, not praising the Lord, not trying to get out of captivity. Right? It's the whole vibe is our people are being engineered to acclimate to the so-called white man way in America. It says wage slavery describes a person dependent on wages or a salary for their livelihood, and that's scary because you don't really have no control over your life, so to speak. All right, but Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai has everything already, written out and orchestrated. But again, it puts you at the mercy of this system. And in order to you really survive in this system, you have to conform to this system in a lot of cases. All right. Especially when wages are low, conditions are poor, and there are few realistic chances of upward mobility. And that's the typical story for you so-called blacks, Hispanic, and Native Americans. Most of our people are in poverty, all right? Are they one situation away from losing all they have? If they get sick, if they get hurt, it's a wrap, all right? You don't have no inheritance. You don't have no trust fund, in most cases. So most of our people, their greatest asset is their health, and they still don't even know how to take care of their body. You know what I'm saying? It says being a wage slave means you are stuck doing a job solely for money. You can't quit, and that's the sentiment of most of our people. They'll be on these jobs 30, 40 years, and they stuck, man. You know what I'm saying? That's to really show you that you're in captivity. But our people have mentally been disconnected from reality and spiritually disconnected from common sense. And Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah. They live in this oblivion state of mind when they just worried about this lifetime. All right. It says, because leaving would have terrible consequences for you and your family. I think that's what they're saying. But I like how he said, because leaving would have terrible, you lose everything that you had. All right. And now people don't know, they don't really understand how delicate this situation is. And they one situation away from losing everything that they have. If they get sick, they get hurt, or any other event happens, they finish. And a lot of people right now are finding out the hard way, right? Because they're not hearkening to this message. They're not understanding why things are the way they are, nor are they trying to find out they're comfortable in captivity, right? They don't care about being in captivity. They don't matter to them. Long as they can go to fucking Chick-fil-A, they fine. Long as they can go on the club on the weekends, they fine with being in captivity and being ruled over. Job 9:24. Let's go to the KJB. It said the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. So another way to read this, the earth is given into the control of the wicked. Who is the wicked? You have to ask yourself these analytical questions, man, if you're serious. The wicked is the so-called white man. And how do you marvel at that, knowing the history of what they even did to our people? All right. How you marvel at that? They actually fed little babies that, all right, lynchings, the rape, rob. They did this to everywhere they went, all over the four corners of the earth, man. So how can you marvel when we say they're the wicked? All right. You people got to really get spiritually, grow up spiritually, man. He covered the faces of the judges. All right, so he whitewashed history. All right, you notice everybody is a so-called white man in the Bible, the Most High, the Messiah, and our people don't understand. They think in their mind that the so-called white man has changed. All right, he has been rehabilitated. 1 second. It's Salakia. It said, if not, is not Salakia. Let me jump back up. I lost my. If not, where and who is he? So if it's not the so-called white man, after knowing his track record, knowing the history, who the hell is it if it ain't him? See, our people don't have an analytical mind, right? You know, of the elect, the Lord blessed us to have an analytical mind, to be able to break things that's complicated down and be able to put 1 + 1 + 1 + 1, you know, so on and so forth, right? Till we make a coherent observation, all right? It says analytical thinking definition. It says must be able to identify and define problems. So we know most of our people collectively are in poverty. All right, they got all kind of problems, so-called relationship problems, so-called financial problems, so-called this every kind of problem that you could have, man. Health problems. All right. It says extract key information from data. What is the data? The scriptures, the holy scriptures, and develop workable solutions. What's the solution? Turn it back to the Lord, and he, you know, and pushing for us to get delivered for the problems identified in order to test and verify the cause of the problem. The so-called white man is the cause of the problem, and develop solutions, which this place got to be destroyed to resolve the problems identified. So destruction got to come, deliverance, and this and many other things, man. All right. So let's go here. And our people got their whole 15-year plan, 20-year plan, their retirement. You know what I'm saying? They building up their nest egg, so to speak. And they go to show you that they a lot of times they so blinded by this American experience, they don't even know they're in captivity. They don't even know who they is. All right. Because if you don't know who you is, you can't know where you're going. You can't understand anything about life. Romans 12:2. Let's just get to, KJB. It said, and be not conformed to this world. So don't conform, pattern yourself, don't copy, don't get into these trends, these fashions, especially our women, all right? Because they get all into the real housewives of Atlanta, you know, how they dress, they, wearing Louis Vuitton, Gucci. Then the scriptures say, envy not that the oppressor and choose none of their ways, all right? It says, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. This is the ultimate mental game. Everything starts in your mind. The body follows the mind. That's what our people don't understand. All right. That ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Yahweh Shem Yahweh. Let me go to the New Living Translation. All right. At the top. It said, don't copy the behavior that's heavy and customs of the world. Who world is this? The so-called white man world. So don't copy nothing in this world, these traditions, these celebrations, the whole vibe of this place, man. The fashions, the trends, the challenges. You know how people get into all this demonic behavior here. Following these rappers, these women rappers. All right. They completely demonic. It says, but let Yahweh transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. See, it's the ultimate mental game, as I said. All right. Then you will learn to know Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. Kahala Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Ba'ashim Rakakwada. Shalom.